So we're here at Zoom Perspectives. I'm with Gideon Pridor.
Hey.
You are the CMO of Workvivo.
That's correct.
Is it still called Workvivo? Are you calling it Zoom Workvivo? Is there a name change?
No. We're keeping the name Workvivo, a Zoom company.
A Zoom company. Okay.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Workvivo is kind of an enterprise social type of thing. Is that accurate?
We don't like to call it that.
Oh,
we call ourselves the employee experience platform.
Okay.
Social is an aspect of it, but it has a lot more functionality.
Okay. So let's talk about this here. So you've got during the pandemic, we sent all the employees home, and we nailed meetings, no problem.
Yeah. That's how Zoom changed the world.
And so, what happened to Workvivo during this time?
We started to boom exactly after COVID because I think that the emotional connection at work, employee commitment, engagement became the biggest unsolved thing. The human aspect was taking a big hit since we stopped seeing each other on a regular basis. I think we all felt that fatigue. And this is exactly what Workvivo is designed for, to enhance the employee experience based on the emotional connection, bringing culture to life digitally. And this is what we help companies do. Suddenly, it stopped being a nice to have. It became a critical thing for CEOs all over the world. How do you replicate what we had in the office, but digitally?
And is Workvivo going to become part of the Zoom suite then?
Absolutely. We're 12 weeks in, so I don't have anything to announce in order to show you exactly how it's going to happen. But the platforms complement each other in a very clear way. We're going to continue to sell Workvivo independently for companies that don't have Zoom and still want to have a best-in-class employee experience platform like us. And we're going to start unveiling the unified experience of Zoom and Workvivo bit by bit. So it's going to be something that works much better together for synchronous and asynchronous communications.
So over the years, we've seen various versions of enterprise social, everything from Yammer to, I don't know, I can't even list them all. What do you think makes Workvivo different?
So that's a great question. I think that the main thing is about timing. It's about timing. Before that, it was a cool feature adding social to a very busy stack of engagement, intranet tools and so forth. And now it's the problem first. Since we don't see each other every day, that emotional human connection became one of, if not the greatest gap that companies have to fill digitally. And suddenly we're not just nice to have, we are really solving a huge human gap that companies are dealing with as they're going from office to hybrid all over the world. And one more comment about that, it's the 70% that never used to work in an office, the frontline people, the nurses, the people in the retail shop. Traditionally, they've never been connected to the company culture and such. And going digital is suddenly an amazing opportunity to make these people feel a part for the first time, because if it's digital, they could be included as well. Suddenly, we become a very critical platform in the middle of all of that, not just a nice to have next to an intranet and such.
Now, in the Workvivo presentation yesterday, you put out some stats, you and your CEO, 100% growth?
Year on year, more than that.
More than that. And then you also talked about how Workvivo has three pillars.
Yeah.
Could you summarize those?
Sure. So it looks and feels social, but we're so much more than a enterprise social network. That's just a delivery method. Workvivo replaces the intranet, the enterprise communication tools, newsletters, engagement, surveys, a lot of functionality that exists on other tools or not at all. And a lot of static websites that companies build for certain campaigns, all in one central platform. So we have a lot of functionality, and we divide it into these three pillars. Employee communications for internal comms.
Okay.
That has stuff like podcasts and live streams and the social feed.
Okay.
Engagement, which is surveys and employee listening, as well as stuff like our number one feature, which is recognition.
Recognition.
Like, shout out, good work, Dave.
I get that all the time. Of
course, I'm sure you do. It's well deserved, man.
Okay.
And the third one is digital workplace, which is intranet. Sharing files.
Intranet's a bad word because internet it's not a destination.
We call it digital workplace.
Okay.
Basically, that's the functionality that, in all honesty, we didn't develop from the get-go 5 years ago, but being the center, meaning people actually use Workvivo, these big enterprises kept asking us to add functionality so they could, for example, retire their intranet or retire most of what they sort of do with the intranet. Why? Because people don't use the intranet. They don't even like that word, right? But they do use Workvivo a lot, about 90% adoption. So we added a lot of that functionality in, so basically you won't need to have another intranet. and you have all these three pillars. That'd be the more functional, boring one. And the core of the core, and why we have so much adoption, is communication, engagement, and measurement all in one place, in a user interface that's very consumer, very intuitive, and doesn't need explaining.
Fantastic. Can't wait to see what Zoom does. Workvivo as a combination. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.